Hello everyone, welcome to the Old Man and the Reed. My name is Jerry. I'm in the process of recording videos right now of all of the literary award-winning books that I've read. So far I've gone through most of the major awards, the Nobel Prize, the Pulitzer, the Booker Prize, National Book Award, Penn Faulkner. And I'm working towards some of the lesser known literary award that I've read. And today I'm going to be doing the Dos Passos Prize. It's a fairly unknown award. In fact, it's one I had never heard of until I started looking for literary award winners. And So I haven't read all of them. Most of these I try to read at least one book of every winner, but this one I haven't. I've read just about all of them, but there's a few I haven't yet. And I will be presenting the books of those writers that I've read. The award began in 1980. The first winner was a British citizen, Graham Greene, and then after that the award was changed to just be awarded to American citizens. The prize is given by Longwood University, and it began in 1980. So with that I'll begin. And as I said, the very first award winner was Graham Greene, a very well-known writer. He's actually somebody I had read quite a bit of back when I was in high school over 50 years ago, and I only have one book of his that's in my library. The others I was just getting out of the public library at the time. And this is The Heart of the Matter. So that's all of Graham Greene's that I have to show. And then in 1981, that's when it was just awarded to U.S. citizens. And the 1981, the winner was Gilbert Sorrentino. He's a writer I had never read, never heard of until this award, and I've actually read 3 of his books now. I kind of like his work. So the first is Imaginative Qualities of Actual Things. Little Casino, and Aberration of Starlight. Then in 1982, the winner was Robert Stone. He's actually someone I had read before I started this literary award. And I've only read, looks like, 4 of his books, but the first is Dog Soldiers, A Flag for Sunrise, Bear and His Daughter, and last of his books, Outer Bridge Reach. Then in 1983, the winner was Doris Betts. I've only read one of her books. That's Beasts of the Southern Wild and Other Stories. Uh, 1985 is another writer that I had already read quite a bit of his work, so I have several books of his. That's Russell Banks, and the first I have is Continental Drift. a permanent member of the family, the darling, rule of the bone, trailer park, the angel on the roof, the sweet hereafter, lost memory of skin, and the last of his books that I've read is Cloud Splitter. Big book, and really an excellent book. Okay, in 1986, the winner was John Edgar Whitman. I've only read 2 of his books. Sent for You Yesterday and Philadelphia Fire. Uh, 1987 is another writer I had not read until I started doing this award. I've only read 2 of her books, but they're both quite good, and I intend to read more. That's Lee Smith. The first is On Agate Hill, and Fair and Tender Ladies. Okay, 1988 is a writer I had read, 35, 40 years ago, whatever it's been. I wrote it's Shelby Foote, and he wrote a 3-book series on the Civil War that I read. And the first is Fort Sumter to Perryville. Then Fredericksburg to Meridian. And finally, Red River to Appomattox. And that's all I've read from him, and that was many years ago. Okay, 1989, the winner was Polly Marshall and I've only read 1 book by her. That's Brown Girl, Brown Stone. Then in 1990, the winner was Larry Woywode, and I've only read 1 book by him, A Step from Death. (1991) is one of the writers I hadn't read before this, and I really like her work. It's Elizabeth Spencer, and I've read The Voice at the Back Door, The Salt Line, and The Light in the Piazza and Other Italian Tales. Okay, 1992, the winner was William Hoffman. Again, I've only read 1 of his books. It was actually quite good, and I intend to read more, but I haven't yet. Blood and Guile, and the writer is, I don't believe I mentioned his name, William Hoffman. Okay, in 1993, again, this is a writer I hadn't read of. I actually had heard of him, but I'd never read any of his work. And once I started reading, he's one of those that I just wanted to read everything I could from him. And that's Ernest J. Gaines. So I've actually read several of his books already. First is Of Love and Dust. In My Father's House. Catherine Carmier. A Lesson Before Dying. Quite an excellent book. A Gathering of Old Men. The Tragedy of Brady Sims. And the last of Ernest J. Gaines' books that I've read is Bloodline. Okay, 1994, the winner was James Welch, and I've only read one book by him. That's Fool's Crow. In 1995, the winner was Helena Maria Veramontes. I've only read one of her books. Their Dogs Came With Them. Then in 1997, the winner is one of the writers that I had read quite a bit of before I started doing these awards, and that's Annie Proulx. And so I've read a few of her books. Bad Dirt, Heart Songs, a small little book, Brookback Mountain, and I believe there was a movie made from this. Accordion Crimes, a really great book. The Shipping News, Postcards, Close Range, Wyoming Stories, Accordion Crimes, That Old Ace in the Hole, and the last of Annie Proulx books I read, Bark Skin. Then in 1998, the winner was Maxine Hong Kingston. I've read two of her books, Chinamen and The Woman Warrior. Then 1999, the winner is Eric Kraft. I've only read one little book, Take the Long Way Home. Just not much more than a short story, but evidently I plan on reading more, but I think just about all of his books feature one character, and that's Peter Leroy. But this is all I've read, so I don't have a lot to say about him yet. The year 2000, the winner was Jill McCorkle, and she's one of the writers that from this award I haven't read yet. Then in 2001, the winner was Madison Smart Bell, and I've only read one book by him. That's All Souls Rising. In 2002, The winner was Randall Kennan, and I've only read one book by him, Let the Dead Bury Their Dead. Okay, in 2003 is a writer I had read before I came to this award, and that's Richard Powers, and I've read, looks like 5 of his books. The Overstory, The Time of Our Singing. I really thought this was quite a good book. Excellent. Well, The Overstory was quite good also. Plowing the Dark. Three Farmers on their way to a Dance. And the last is The Echo Maker. Then in 2004, the winner was Maureen Howard, and I've only read 2 of her books. The first is Bridgeport Bus, and Grace Abounding. In 2005, the winner was Tim Gutrow. I've only read 1 book, but he's one of those I really intend to read more. I thought this was an excellent book, The Clearing. Then in 2006, the winner is Kent Harif. I've only read 3 of his books, but again, he's one of the writers I plan on reading more of. Plain Song, Where You Once Belonged, and Our Souls at Night. In 2009, the winner was Robert Bosch, and I've only read 1 book by him, Almighty Me. Then in 2010, another one of the writers that I had heard of, hadn't read anything from, but I really like his work. I've read quite a bit, and I think he's quite a good writer. That's Percival Everett, and I've read So Much Blue, Damned If I Do, I Am Not Sidney Poitier. Really, he's just really a clever writer, and this book is really good. Speaking of good, this one I think was fabulous. Erasure, Assumption, Telephone, this one, it's a little, the title is a little confusing, and the book itself is somewhat confusing, but incredibly well done. The title of the book is Percival Everett by Virgil Russell, and it's of course written by Percival Everett, but quite cleverly written, and a little confusing at times. And finally, the last of the books that I read by Percival Everett is Glyph, and that's about a baby that's a genius. Okay, in 2011, the winner was Matt Johnson, and he's another writer that I actually haven't read anything from yet. Then in 2012 is Colson Whitehead, and I've read, I guess, 3 of his books. John Henry Days, The Nickel Boys, and The Underground Railroad. 2013, the winner was Sherman Alexie. I've only read 1 book, and that's War Dances. In 2014, the winner was Ruth Ozeki for A Tale, or I read just 1 book, A Tale for the Time Being. And again, 2015 winner, I've only read 1 book from, Paul Beatty, and that's The Sellout. (2016) the winner was Danzy Senna and I read Caucasia, but I really thought this was quite good, and I fully intend to read more of her work. In 2017, the winner was Chang Ray Lee, and I've read 2 of his books, Adjust Your Life and The Surrendered. Then in 2019, just a really incredibly good writer. I've only read 2 of his books so far, but I fully intend, I think he's one of those, I'll try to read everything he's written. But this first one, An Unnecessary Woman, I think was just sensational. It was a book I really enjoyed. And the other one was just as good, maybe not quite as good, but still very good. The Wrong End of the Telescope. Okay. In 2020, the winner was Alexander Hemon, and I've only read 1 book, The Lazarus Project. And 2021, again, I've only read 1 book. That's by, the winner was Monique Trong, and I read The Book of Salt. And the last from this video is Carolina de Robertis, the winner in 2022, and I again just have read 1 book, The President and the Frog. So that completes my presentation for the Dos Passos Prize, and I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully maybe you'll want to watch another video. So thank you.